Hi, it's Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today I have for us to do the Easy Spring Fling Shawl. This shawl is super easy to make. It consists of some treble crochets in the beginning, then we're going to do double crochet V-stitches and some double crochets. Once we get to the double crochet rows, then it's just going to be a repeat of your V-stitches, double crochet, V-stitches, double crochet rows. Very simple. Your edging, the border, is a double crochet 3 together, some single crochets, and picot stitches. I've already made my full shawl, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to start the shawl and get up to the first full repeat, and then you're just going to keep repeating it for however big you want your shawl to be. This shawl measures from the tip. It's a triangle shawl, as you could see from the thumbnail, from the triangle point up to the end is 46 inches. From the triangle tip up to here, up to the top of the shawl, is 26 inches. From wing to wing is about 56 inches. So it's a generous size shawl. So let's pull out the yarn and the hooks, and I'll show you everything that you need to make this shawl. The yarn I use to make the Easy Spring Fling Shawl is Loops and Threads Yarn Lane Cotton Colors. This is a 100% cotton yarn. It's a medium 4. It is machine washable, but you want to lay flat to dry. Each ball has 394 yards, 7 ounces, 360 meters, 200 grams. You're going to want 2 balls of yarn to make this shawl. The color I used was called Sherbet. The hook size you'll need to make the shawl is a size H 5.0 millimeter hook. You're going to want a yarn needle to weave in your ends, a pair of scissors, and I like to have a stitch marker on hand too, especially like when you're done working on your shawl for the day or for a time period. You can just put a stitch marker in to hold it in place so none of your work unravels. So once you have all of your supplies, just grab your hooks, grab your yarn, and let's start working on the Easy Spring Fling Shawl. To start the shawl, we're going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slip stitch into that first chain that you made. And it'll form a ring. Our first row is going to go directly into that ring. So chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That chain 4 will count as your first treble crochet. To do a treble crochet, you yarn over twice and insert into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. We're going to make 4 more treble crochet into the ring, so we'll have a total of 6 treble crochet counting our chain 4. So yarn over twice, insert into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do 3 more treble crochet. Tail out of the way there. 1, 2, and 3. have a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to place 6 more treble crochet into the ring. Continue working your 6 treble crochet, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of row 1. We have 6 treble crochet on each side. This chain 3 is going to become the point of our triangle shawl. To start row 2, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to turn the work, and in this very first stitch we're going to place 2 treble crochet. In the next 5 stitches we're going to put 1 treble crochet. Two, 3, 4, and 1 more makes 5. A little tight getting into that one. Now we're going to come to the point of our shawl. We're going to do 2 treble crochet, chain 3, 2 treble crochet. I did find this yarn does split a little bit, but if you go slow, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. There's our chain 3, and we're going to do 2 more treble crochet into that chain space. Okay. Now 1 treble crochet into the next 5 stitches, and that's going to leave our turning chain will be our last stitch. We're going to place 3 treble crochet into that turning chain. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row when we get to that turning chain. I'm at the end of the row, and in that top of that turning chain we're going to place 3 treble crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now this will give us a total of 10 treble crochets on either side of our chain 3, our chain 3 center. To start row 3, we're going to chain up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This chain 5 will count as a treble crochet chain 1. Turn the work, and in this very first stitch we're going to place a double crochet V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch, and that gives us a double crochet V-stitch. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and into the next stitch we're going to do another double crochet V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. We're going to do that 2 more times. Skip the next 2 stitches into the 3rd, double crochet V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. One more time, skip the next 2 stitches into the 3rd, make sure you get both loops, double crochet V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And that brings us up to our point, which is our chain 3 space, where we're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochet all into the same space. And that gives us our point. Moving on, the very next stitch we're going to place a double crochet V-stitch, skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and place a double crochet V-stitch. We're just matching what is on the other side. Skip the next 2 stitches and place a double crochet V-stitch into the next. And that's going to bring us up to our chain, our turning chain. We're going to place a double crochet V-stitch into the top of the turning chain, and we're also going to chain 1 and place a treble crochet into the same stitch to end the row. To start row 4, we're going to go ahead and chain up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then turn the work. In this very first space right here, this first chain space, we're going to go ahead and place a double crochet V-stitch. In the chain spaces of the double crochet V-stitches in the row below, these spaces right in here, these spaces right here, we're going to be working double crochet V-stitches. So in each one of the V-stitches, the double crochet V-stitches in the row below, we're going to work a double crochet V-stitch. When we get to that last V-stitch before the corner, there's going to be 3 double crochets. One of them is part of the last V-stitch. Then the other 2 are part of the corner. We're going to go right in the middle, so we're going to skip the first one, go to the second one, and place a double crochet V-stitch. Then we're going to come up to our corner, and our corner or our point is always going to be 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. And that's going to be like that from here on out through the rest of the shawl. Now we're going to work the same pattern we did on this side onto the other side. So here's those same 3 stitches, the 2 for the corner and the 1 beginning that first V-stitch. So we're going to skip that first one, go into the second one, and create a double crochet V-stitch. Then we're going to start working into the chain 1 spaces of the double crochet V-stitches from the row below. And we're going to work double crochet V-stitches right back into those chains 1 spaces. Hold on one moment, I got a knot in my yarn. Sorry about that. This yarn can be very splitty. Here's that last double crochet V-stitch. Now we're coming up to that chain 5 space. We're going to work a double crochet V-stitch, chain 1, and a treble crochet. Into that space. Now you should have, at the end of this row, 6 V-stitches on each side. To start row 5, we're going to chain up 5, and turn the work. Now rows 5, 6, and 7 are all the same. The only difference is you're going to be increasing the number of V-stitches each row by 2 V-stitches. But you're basically working them exactly the same as you did row 4. You're going to start each row with a chain 5 and a V-stitch in that very first stitch, and you're going to end your row in the last space, in the last chain space, with a V-stitch, chain 1, treble crochet. I'll start you off on row 5. I'm going to do a double crochet V-stitch, and we're going to double crochet V-stitch in each double crochet V-stitch across each one of those chain 1 spaces. Right up to the corner or the point, however you want to refer to that spot of the shawl. coming up onto the last double crochet V-stitch. And here we have our 3 double crochets at the end. Again, we're going to skip the first one, go into the second one, and create a double crochet V-stitch. Then we do our corner, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. You're going to continue that pattern all the way down, take it to the end of the row, and that'll complete row 5. You do that again for row 6 and row 7, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 7. I'm at the end of row 7, and I didn't give you the counts for the ends of each of the rows, so let me go back, take a step back here, and give you the counts. For row 5, you're going to have 8 V-stitches on each side. Row 6, you're going to have 10 V-stitches. Row 7, you'll have 12 V-stitches. To start row 8, we're going to chain up 5, and turn the work. This is going to be the solid double crochet rows. So instead of doing a V-stitch in this first chain space, we're going to place 1 double crochet. In each stitch and in each chain space, we're going to put 1 double crochet. So this very first stitch right here, we're going to put a double crochet. Then next we're going to have a chain space. So instead of trying to work your hook into that chain, we're just going to go ahead and put it through the chain space. Then we come up to 2 stitches, so we can go ahead and work right into the tops of those stitches. And then we're up to another chain space, so go ahead and work into the chain space. And continue working in that pattern in each one of the double crochets, then into the chain space, all the way across until you get to the center point of the shawl. And I'll meet back up with you at that center point. I've made it to the center point of our shawl, and we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets in that center section. That does not change, that stays the same throughout the entire pattern, or for the rest of this pattern, because the very beginning was a little different. And you're going to just continue just like you did for this section all the way back to the end, and in your very last stitch you're going to put a double crochet, chain 1, and a treble crochet into this last chain space. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of row 8. We're going to chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn the work to start row 9. We still have the 41 stitches on each side of the shawl. This is going to be another straight double crochet row. We're going to start with a double crochet in this first chain space and 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way across. When you get to the corner or the point, it's 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, all the way around to get to the other side of the shawl. In that last chain space, remember it's a double crochet, chain 1, and a treble crochet in the last chain space. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of row 9. We have 44 stitches, 44 double crochets on either side of the shawl. Let's back this out so you can get a little look at this. Now, from this point, you'll be repeating the 5 rows of V-stitches, then 2 rows of double crochet, 5 rows of V-stitches, 2 rows of double crochets. And that is what you'll be repeating for the entire shawl. To get the shawl the same size that mine was in the thumbnail, you'll be going to row 30. So right now we're at row 9. You'll be ending with with 2 rows of solid double crochets. So it'll be row 29 and 30. If you want the shawl to be the same size, you can make your shawl bigger, you can make your shawl smaller. I would recommend that you end your shawl on the 2 rows of double crochet, because that would be that works out the best for the pattern. Then we'll work the border. For round 1 of the border, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work our first row, our first part of the round on the border. We're going to work in the ends of the rows going across the top of your shawl. We're going to work single crochet into the ends of the rows. Work your single crochets in sets of 3. So here's the first one. I did 1. And you're going to try to work into the stitch versus around the stitch, because it gives you a nicer edge. So that's 2 and then 3. So into these treble crochets or the chain 5s. So 1, 2, and then 3. So continue working single crochets in sets of 3 across the ends of the rows until you get to the other end or the other side. And to round the corner, you're going to want to work 3 single crochets into the corner. I've made it around to the point or the bottom of the shawl. This corner, however you want to refer to it, is the bottom of the shawl, the triangle part. This corner needs to be a little bit larger than your side corners. So for this one, instead of doing 3 single crochets in this point, we're going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you can just continue on working single crochets along the edge of the shawl till you get back up to the other side, the other corner, where you're going to remember you need to work 3 single crochets back into that corner. I've made it all the way back around. I'm at the end of round 1. I'm going to go ahead and place 2 single crochets back into that first stitch that we just that very first stitch that we did, and I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch as well to end the round. Don't worry if you have your stitch count is like 1 or 2 stitches extra at the end, or you're 1 or 2 stitches short. We're going to adjust for that as we're doing this border, so that we have our double crochet 3 together on one side and then double crochet 3 together on the other side of each of the corners. You may have 1 or 2 stitches in the center on the corners, and that's okay. It'll work out. So don't get too worried if you have 1 or 2 stitches extra as you're coming around. It'll work. We can adjust it as we're working the border. So to start round 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go right back into that same stitch, and we're going to start our double crochet 3 together. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 and hold it, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, hold it, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and now you'll have 4 loops left on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all loops on your hook. That's a double crochet 3 together. And let me just, in case you need a little better look at that. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to repeat that again. So yarn over the hook, insert into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, you'll have 4 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. I'm going to chain 3 again, and we're going to repeat that. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 4. And we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and there's our repeat. We're going to do that again all the way around the shawl. I'm going to meet up with you at the corner, so if I can show you how to adjust to go around the corner so that we have a double crochet 3 together on either side of the corner. I'm at the corner of the shawl, not the point, the corner, and in order to round the corner, we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip 1 stitch and start our next double crochet 3 together in the next stitch. And chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to just keep proceeding across like we were before till we get to the point of the shawl. So it rounds, so this rounds the corner off on the shawl. I'm at the point of the shawl, and we'll have to skip 2 stitches in order to keep this in balance so that we have a double crochet 3 together on one side of the point and a double crochet 3 together on the other side of the point. And we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go around this point because this point is bigger than the other 2 corners of the shawl. Skip 2 stitches and then we're going to start our double crochet 3 together. And then we can continue on across this part of the shawl back up to the beginning just like we were before, chaining 3 and doing our double crochet 3 together. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I made it all the way back around to the beginning, and as you can see we're actually going to have 2 stitches left on this corner, but it won't make any difference. I've got my chain of 4 and I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that very first double crochet 3 together. To start round 3, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to kind of turn the work here, and I'm going to single crochet 2 single crochets into that chain 3 space, that first chain 3 space. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into that first chain, and that forms what's called a peacoat stitch. Then we're going to single crochet 2 more times into that chain space. That forms our little points. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 2 single crochets, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch back into that first chain stitch that we did, then 2 single crochets back into the same chain space, and it forms the little peaks. I'll show it to you one more time. 2 single crochets, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the first chain that you made, 2 single crochets. Please repeat this all the way to the corner, and I'll meet back up with you when we reach the corner. I'm at the first corner, and because we did a larger chain, we did a chain 4 at the corner, we're going to actually do 3 double crochets and then a chain 4 and 3 double crochets. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're still going to slip stitch into that first chain that we made. Then we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And that gives us just a little bit larger stitch around that corner and a little bit bigger peacoat because we're out the corner. And now we're going to continue with the same stitch around down to the corner or the point. So we're going to go back to doing 2 double crochets, chain 3, and slip stitching into that first chain, and then 2 double crochets. The extra chains and the extra stitches are just for the corners, for this corner and for the opposite corner. We're going to do something a little bit different at the peak, at the point, because we have a few more stitches at the point too. So I'll meet back up with you at the point. I'm at the point of the shawl, and because we had the extra chains, we're going to need to do extra single crochets. So we're going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, then a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, go into that first single crochet that you made and slip stitch, then 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to continue right back to the beginning as normal with 2 single crochets, 1, 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitching into that first chain you did, and 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. And just so you can get a look at the corner, that point, so comparative to the other 2. So continue working and I'll meet back up with you at the end. Okay, I just completed my last corner, and I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first single crochet that we made and fasten off. And we are done. Just have to go ahead and weave those ends in, and that is all there is. So this is the mini version of the shawl, of the Spring Fling shawl. So if you've liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring that bell. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting! Bye-bye!